In the heart of Africa, something is happening. Something powerful, something unexpected. A quiet rebellion is rising, and leading it is a young soldier with revolution in his voice and a dream for a free Africa in his heart. His name is Ibrahim Traoré. Some call him the new Thomas Sankara. Others call him a threat. To his people, he is a hero. To the West, he is a problem. But who is Ibrahim Traoré? What does he want? And why is the West so desperate to stop him? To understand that, we have to go back in time to a war the world says it's over, but never really ended. After World War II ended in 1945, two world powers took control of global politics: the United States in the West and the Soviet Union in the East. They didn't fight each other directly. Instead, they fought through ideas: capitalism versus communism, freedom versus control, West versus East. And they used poor countries like those in Africa as the battleground. In Congo, the US helped remove a popular African leader, Patrice Lumumba, because he was too friendly with the Soviets. In Angola, both sides poured weapons and soldiers into a civil war that lasted decades. In Somalia and Ethiopia, they backed different sides just to beat the other. And all this while Africa bled, millions died. The Cold War may have ended in 1991, but in Africa, that battle never really stopped. Now, let's talk about Burkina Faso, a small country in West Africa, poor in money but rich in gold. Burkina Faso isn't new to political upheaval. In fact, it holds a grim record, more coups than any other African country. 9 successful coups and at least 10 failed attempts, and each one tells a story. It all began in 1966. Colonel Sangoulou Lamizana overthrew the country's first president, Maurice Yamoga, after mass protests against corruption and authoritarian rule. France didn't panic, no sanctions, no outrage, just quiet diplomacy and business as usual. In 1980, another military officer, Colonel Saye Zabo, overthrew Lamizana. He promised reforms, but the economy crumbled, and soon Burkina Faso was surviving on foreign aid. 2 years later, in 1982, Major Dr. Jean-Baptiste toppled Zabo in another coup, and another promise was made. Still, no real change. Then came 1983. Captain Thomas Sankara, just 33 years old, charismatic, radical, unapologetically African. He took power in a revolutionary coup, and this time it felt different. Sankara slashed government waste. He promised local industries, launched mass literacy program, empowered women, and declared war on corruption, colonialism, and foreign control. He said, "He who feeds you, control you," and he was right. Western powers didn't like that, especially not France, whose mining interests were threatened by his policy. In 1987, the revolution was shot dead. Sankara was assassinated by his closest friend and ally, Blaise Compaoré, in a French-backed coup. The dream of a truly independent Burkina Faso was buried with Sankara. For the next 27 years, Compaoré ruled authoritarian, unshakable, and also in the line with the West. He opened up Burkina Faso's gold field to foreign companies, privatized state industries, welcomed French troops and foreign contracts. Burkina Faso became what scholars called a semi-sovereign state, independent on paper, but quietly controlled by external powers. France was in full control, and the people, they were left with poverty, insecurity, and silence. In January 2022, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba staged another coup. He blamed the civilian government for failing to stop jihadist violence, but nothing really changed. He kept French troops, kept their contracts, and kept their status quo. So in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, young, bold, and fed up, led a counter-coup. He accused Damiba of betraying the revolution and protecting foreign interests. But the truth is, everything changed in 1987 when Sankara was gunned down and Compaoré, with silent support from France, took over. That single moment crushed a revolution and handed the country over to foreign control. What followed was a decade of external influence: foreign mining, and Western approval of puppet regime, Burkina Faso became free in name, but never in reality. In 1988, just 1 year after Thomas Sankara's death, Ibrahim Traoré was born. He grew up under a system that crushed the dreams of Thomas Sankara. But he didn't run away, he joined the army, and he started asking questions. In the north of the country, terrorists were killing people, villages were being destroyed, families were forced to flee. So Traoré asked, why are we still losing grounds? Why are foreign companies digging our gold from our land, while our people live in poverty? Why are French soldiers here if they are not protecting our people? And most importantly, who is really benefiting from all this? In 2022, he took action. Without firing a shot, he removed the sitting president, a man seen too close to France. This was not just a cue, it was a message. Traoré said, enough is enough. He wasn't backed by IMF, he had no foreign support, no billionaire sponsors. What he had was the support of his people and the spirit of Sankara. In the few months of power, Traoré made bold moves. He kicked out French soldiers, ended old military deals signed during colonial times. He shut down French media like France 24 and Radio France. He even expelled some French NGOs, accusing them of spying under the cover of charity. He began to audit all the gold mining contracts, asking who is getting rich and who is getting left behind. More than 90% of Burkina Faso's gold is controlled by foreign companies, and Traoré said no more. But the minute he did all this, Western media turned against him. They called him a militant captain, a dangerous populist, a Putin's puppet. They didn't ask why the people were cheering him, or why previous governments had failed. They didn't ask about the root causes. They just painted him as a bad guy. And in today's world, media is a weapon. Control the story, and you control the people. So Traoré began blocking Western outlets that he said were pushing lies to weaken his government. Then in 2024, a report came out claiming Burkina Faso army killed civilians in the north. Without waiting, the government banned BBC, Voice of America, and Human Rights Watch. To some, this looked extreme. To others, it was defense, not just of land, but of truth. Because perception creates policy, and if you paint a leader as a monster, you create excuses for sanctions and isolations, or even invasion. But here is what truly scares the West. It is not just Traoré's speeches, it is his visions. A Burkina Faso and a whole of Africa that stands on its own feet. No foreign troops, no foreign loans, no puppet government, just freedom, just dignity, just power in the hands of the people. Others are watching. Mali, Niger, and Guinea. They too have kicked out French troops. They too are saying, Africa first, and Traoré is becoming a symbol, not just of resistance, but of rebirth. In the old colonial rule book, there's an unwritten law. You can rebel, but only if we approve. Traoré didn't just break the rule, he burned the book. So who is Ibrahim Traoré? He's not perfect, he's not a saint, but he is something rare. A leader who is not afraid of the West, not afraid of the media, not afraid of the dream of a new Africa. Whether he succeed or fail, one thing is clear, he has already changed the game, and the world is watching.